Hey guys, welcome back. It's your boy Grade A Fantasy, and this is the first video of the FanDuel DFS NFL 2025 season. Uh, been pretty much taking notes and preparing what I wanted to do for these upcoming shows. So just to give you a heads up, yes, this is the first show since the preseason review of the Hall of Fame game, but this will not be a slate review. What I'll be doing first, before I start a full slate review as the slate gets closer, is I'll be going over the top values for each position. So pretty much I'll give you what I feel are my top 3 to 5 values per position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Now, running back, there's still a lot of things going on. Practice, people can still get hurt. A lot of fluctuation with running back and wide receiver. There's still trades happening and things going on. So, running back, wide receiver, those will be the last 2 videos I do. So, what I plan on doing tonight is we're pretty much it's about 1 hour midnight over here on the East Coast. So, basically, we are 1 week away from the NFL season being kicked off with the Thursday night game with the Eagles and the Cowboys. But we're still a week and a half away from the actual Sunday slate. So a lot of things could happen. Technically, regular season practice started, I think, a couple of days ago. I think let me see. Yeah, I would say 2 days ago, after all the cut downs and everything. So now everything's being set. Official depth charts will be updated on certain websites. But with all the movement in running back and wide receivers, those will be the last videos later on this week, at least by the weekend. Quarterback, tight end, and defense is what I will start off with first. Once again, top values for the running back and wide receiver position will come later, at least by the end of the holiday weekend. And I'll most likely do a slate review probably the middle of next week, probably the day before, or I'll start doing the slate review by position again. I'll start doing the slate review by position again, starting maybe Tuesday, as the air fryer behind me goes off. So let's get right into it. So the one thing is, as usual, this is definitely week 1 is definitely it's a lot of bargains out there. As you can see, you got Jaden Daniels at 8,500 starting up here, and it drops all the way down 500, and then it just, it steadily drops how it normally does. Like I said, there's a lot of big gun quarterbacks, big name quarterbacks that are not on the slate because they're on the Sunday night slate, Sunday night schedule, Monday, Thursday, and Friday single games. Thank God FanDuel got rid of the Sunday night slate on Sundays, so I'm definitely happy about that. But let's get right into it. So, starting off, I will start off with who do I want to start off with? Wow, I said I prepared for the show and I'm already messing up already. Okay, so we'll start here. We'll start right in this range at 6,700. You want to start off with a cheap stack. I like Michael Penix. Michael Penix at home against a Tampa Bay defense. Once again, it's something that I said for years. It's even though they've tried to draft and pick up help for the secondary, it's still a secondary that can be had. It's the front seven that's the strength of Tampa Bay, even from the Brady days. So Michael Penix definitely showed a lot, especially in the last 4 games that he had. Well, pretty much the last 3. And, they let him sling it around. 27, it wasn't more of a, hey, let's give it to Bijan and have him pass 22 to 25 times. No, Michael Penix, 27, 35, and 38 attempts. And he had 3 touchdowns in those games. And scored pretty decent and scored pretty nicely in those games. I mean, he had 38, almost a 30-point breakout at the end of the season. And he did look good playing those games that he did. So with that, against that defense at home, he definitely had the opportunity to put up some early season numbers. He got the 4 games last year. He has a full training camp with the starters. So I definitely like Michael Penix. As we continue, we'll go up Another person that I like, I think nobody's really talking about because I think everybody's so hyped about seeing a healthy Christian McCaffrey, is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, he even though he's on the road, Seattle's still not. Seattle's defense somewhat improved with the acquisitions. I just don't think it's improved enough to slow down Purdy. Now, can Seattle win? Because yes, the wide receiver injuries are pretty bad with San Francisco. And if they wanted to, Seattle could easily stack the front and just, make Purdy a passer. But the way they use McCaffrey out the backfield, the way he gives it to McCaffrey, you could actually double stack Purdy, Kittle, McCaffrey, Purdy, McCaffrey, if he plays Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. I think if Seattle's smart with the injuries that they have now, earlier today they did sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but I think he's more on the wash side. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is one of those, he's once in a while. He'll have not even one or two. He'll have the one game where he'll show up, but with the opportunity that he has and all the injuries, it's another option. But I think if Seattle does, and it's a smart thing to think about, if Seattle does stack the box against a running McCaffrey, then yeah, passing to McCaffrey in the slot, McCaffrey out the backfield, looking for Pearsall, looking for Kittle. Purdy might be looking at possibly a game where he has to chuck it almost 40 times. He did have some good games against Seattle last year. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Did run for a touchdown, so still salvaged that day, even though he only threw for 159. Almost had 20 points there. And then when he was at San Francisco last year, 3 touchdowns and 24.1 points. So Purdy does have a history playing well against Seattle. I think it's a good option. I think it's something that you have to think about. And speaking of McCaffrey, even though we're not talking about running backs or anything like that, slate preview, I think even though he's the most popular, I don't think I'll be getting over what he'll be projected because of what I said. It is smart to think with a beat-up wide receiver core, and you have Ricky Pearsall and just Kittle. Those are people that you could, you might feel comfortable playing one-on-one as you stack 7 to 8 in the box and just play everybody else one-on-one. I mean, that's the defense that I think I would play. I don't think Purdy's a bad quarterback, but if they're going to rely on McCaffrey, at least have McCaffrey beat you one way instead of multiple ways. So I think Purdy's going to be forced to throw 35, 40 times. And yeah, does it leave range for interceptions? Yes, but Purdy's a very accurate quarterback. Seattle's defense might be slightly improved from last year, but I definitely like Purdy to put on a nice week 1 performance. And then we'll go to our cover boy, and that is, where is he? We'll go down a little bit where we was with Penix. And yeah, everybody's going to love Joe Flacco. If there's a defense, if you think Seattle's not going to be a good defense like they were last year, even at home, certain situations, yes, 12th man, loud crowd, but it's the Cincinnati defense. Joe Flacco still has an amazing arm, one of the best deep ball throws in the game. Loves using his tight end, so Njoku, Judy, that whole wide receiver squad can pretty much toast the secondary of the Bengals. Literally all Joe Flacco has to worry about is Henderson coming off the edge. Other than that, Flacco is still nimble to move up and step up into the pocket. It's one of the high-scoring games. Flacco against the Cincinnati defense, most important is Cincinnati secondary, 6,600. You can build some very cheap mini single stacks, double stacks. Flacco's definitely going to be a popular tournament play. I think Flacco and Penix and Purdy, because I think a lot of people might go other places. I have 2 more people that I would like to get to, and then I had a top 3: Flacco, Purdy, and Penix. In my notes, I put as honorable mentions. We'll first go to right there at 7K. I wanted to go 7K and under, but when you look at where Trevor Lawrence is, still is the Carolina defense. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a whole bunch of quarterbacks above him. So he's pretty much right there in the middle, right at 7,000 at home against Carolina. Brian Thomas Jr. That's the one thing Carolina, now maybe they got a little bit better, but Carolina is definitely without a doubt still susceptible to the deep ball. I think Trevor Lawrence can have a good day at 7,000. And another honorable mention, I do like this. I think I can get into a more comparison with this. And it's definitely a tournament play. And I think this is something that should be played. This is something that, without a doubt, should be played in your milli tournaments. So I think I'm going to have a few different versions of it in 25 max that I'm going to play. And what I like here is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones at home. He doesn't have to be in the sultry heat in Miami. He's at home against Miami. So once you're at home against Miami, there's already an advantage there. But here's the thing. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, they're basically the same quarterback. Athletic, could move, can run. But the thing with Daniel Jones is the better passer. And most importantly, Daniel Jones is playing with the most talent he's ever played with his career. Besides Saquon, he's never had this much talent around him while he was in New York than what he has here. Jonathan Taylor. He has Michael Pittman. He has Josh Downs. He has a plethora of young wide receivers. Alec Wright. He has a plethora, and they definitely go 3 deep with their tight ends. Daniel Jones could definitely, against the Miami defense. Now, obviously, these numbers don't mean much, but if he's able just to hit constantly Malik Neighbors time after time after time again and get all those receptions and make Malik Neighbors top fantasy viable with Daniel Jones before he got benched and traded, then Daniel Jones, without a doubt, with Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and the rest of the wide receiver core, he could put up something like, as you can see here, at Pittsburgh numbers, at Seattle numbers, even at home against Dallas. But instead of 281 with 0 touchdowns, he likes to drop it down to his running backs. Jonathan Taylor is a very good running back out the back, pass catching running back out the backfield. Michael Pittman, maybe nobody feels like nobody on the Colts is better than Malik Neighbors, but the core of the wide receivers is better than what he had with the Giants. So one of my favorite GPP plays that I will have some exposure to, without a doubt, at 6,900, and with what he has at wide receiver, definitely affordable, cheap stack, definitely Daniel Jones at home against the Colts. And that is it for this short, quick video. Once again, these are just videos breaking down what I feel are the best values per position. Next up, I think I'll be doing tight end and then defense. I think both of those videos will most likely be posted. They'll most likely be posted tomorrow to give this video some time to breathe. But tight end and defense will go back to back. And then, like I said, I'll be working on running back and wide receiver as more news come out. Both those videos for top values will be done at least by the holiday weekend, before the holiday weekend is over. And then, like I said, I will probably start Tuesday or Wednesday with the actual week 1 FanDuel slate review. But thank you once again for tuning in. Let's have some fun this year. Or let's start this weekend. Start this upcoming first week slate with a bang. Thank you for tuning in. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy, and I'm signing off.